based on the people I've spoken with, and my colleague Mike Garafolo has spoken with as well, not looking good for Lamar Jackson, which is, I would say, a little bit of a surprise. If you go back, December 4th was the last time he played, battling a PCL sprain, and I know there was so many people involved who thought, all right, well, if Lamar's not going to play for the regular season, surely he will be ready for the playoffs. However, my understanding, this is something sources have said over the course of the past 24 hours, is that Lamar Jackson faces an uphill battle to be able to get out on the field in the playoffs against the Cincinnati Bengals. He is working, he is trying, he's rehabbing. The knee is just not quite right. Now, this has been shrouded in some secrecy, so look, there's always a chance anything happens with Lamar Jackson. Everyone leaves that little out, but I would be surprised based on what I know if he practices today, which means we could see another week of Tyler Snoop Huntley for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, let me take, excuse me, the contract situation off the table for a minute. 2 weeks ago, I was at a game and a player unsolicited came up to me and asked me about Lamar. And he said to me, I sprained my PCL in week 1. He said, I'm still not right. He said, I came back only because our team is in the playoff hunt. He said, if Lamar has a grade 2 sprain, PCL sprain, he said, even if he gets back on the field for the playoffs, he is not going to be the same Lamar that we know. So from that standpoint, I think you could see I shouldn't say frustration, but you could see where John Harbaugh was on this, that there's really not a lot you can do physically if he is not ready. And clearly, physically, he is not ready. So I hate to hear the contract situation brought into this, because if you know Lamar, that's not what he's about in terms of he wants to be there for his guys. I remember going back to the day after the draft and saying to Lamar, if you have a chance for the Hall of Fame, a gold jacket, or a Super Bowl trophy, which would you take? And without hesitation, he said a Super Bowl Vince Lombardi trophy. Why? Because that means he has done something special for him and his teammates. So he is not that individual egotistical guy. I don't believe this is about contract. I believe this is truly about his health and him wanting to be right.
What are you guys' thoughts about that?
Man, I told y'all 2 years ago this shit was gonna happen. Whenever you don't have the bag, they're gonna scrutinize everything that you do. And until you get the bag, like right now, we could talk about Dak Prescott's performance, or we could talk about Carson Wentz, or we could talk about whoever else, right? But when they got that guaranteed money, it's only so much a franchise can do with them, because they kind of locked in for a little while, especially the way some of these contracts are. We're just frustrated as fans. But as men, right? I mean, like, real talk. If you look in the mirror and you Lamar Jackson, you haven't gotten 200 million or 169 like that, or 170 like Kirk Cousins, right? That when that mirror look back at you, you might be a little disappointed, but shit, you still got $170 million. But when you out there and you not getting paid like your contemporaries and you giving it your all, it's a different type of pressure, because you know everything that you do until you get that bag is gonna be uber scrutinized. So that's just my thing with him. I don't know if he's healthy or not. I mean, I don't know if he's any more injured now than he was in week 1. But I do know, I said back in week 1 and week 5 and week 3, and y'all can go back and check the text. I told Kobe I would never take the field for the Baltimore Ravens, because the sign of disrespect, they have played players over and over and over, and they have not given.
They just paid that. They just paid that linebacker they just traded for.
Man, they paid Mark Andrews
$100 million over 5 years.
Yeah, they play players all the time. So what is it when he literally is the franchise? You can mark him 1 through 10, 1 through 15, whatever you want to rank him as. We all know as fans, there is no Baltimore Ravens right now without Lamar Jackson. So I wouldn't have took the field. They could have did whatever they wanted to do with me, but I wouldn't have took the field in week 1, because I know we had a conversation about Dak Prescott. I know I'm gonna let y'all go because everybody got to go.
You good, bro?
But my issue with him was his game, until he changes his throwing motion or becomes a little bit more accurate, is predicated on his athleticism, on his ability to be able to have a defense, put an 8th man in the box, or put a spy on him. Because one, you know, he don't have weapons, but 2, that's just his game. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you know what I mean? So I always said the worst thing that can happen for Lamar Jackson's bottom line is if he ever got hurt, and we question his ability to be 100%. So that's just my thoughts on it.
True.
I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think if he really wanted to, he could hit the field. I really feel like them paying Roquan Smith really like put the icing on the cake of him not playing. You know what I'm saying? Like I really feel like he's done been vouching to get a contract for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And you got a guy who came in and played 6 games with y'all, 7 games, and he get $100 million. Like, come on, bro. What has he done for the franchise for him to get $100 million? But I can't get nothing. You know
They
what I'm
paid
saying?
him
Like,
off a prior production from Chicago.
from a whole different scheme, man, a whole different team he was in. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I mean, I feel for Lamar, man, and I saw something on Twitter he put up today because Shannon Sharp talked about this morning, and Shannon Sharp was like, if he's Lamar Jackson, he said he would never take the field for the Ravens again unless money is involved.